Coming up on BG24 Sports, it was a thriller on the field Saturday as the Falcons faced Buffalo for homecoming. We have highlights from that game.
And hockey hit the ice for an exhibition match against Simon Fraser. We'll talk about the Falcons' upcoming season.
Plus, the Bengals were finally dethroned last night. We'll talk about what plagues Cincinnati in big games. All this and more when we come back.
It's un-Falcon believable coverage that you won't get anywhere else. This is BG24 Sports.
Welcome to BG24 Sports. I'm Terry Lash.
And I'm Katie Warnke. What a homecoming it was on Saturday. Cold, windy, just your normal October day in Bowling Green. Terry, what were those fans up to before the game?
Okay, there was a lot going on out there in the parking lot, and I went out and took a look at some of the homecoming celebrations that were going on.
Here we go, Falcons! Here we go! Here we go, Falcons! Here we go!
Cold weather and high winds couldn't stop alumni from returning to BG for the homecoming tailgate on Saturday. Alumni gathered in tents to reconnect with old classmates, and the party kept on going like they never left Bowling Green. The homecoming tailgate featured good friends, good food, games for one and all, and a fun time for all of those who came out. Temperatures for the tailgate may have been low, but morale was at an all-time high. Reporting for BG24 Sports, I'm Terry Lash.
It was a frigid day, but I'd say the Falcons were ready to come out and play some football. Bowling Green taking on Buffalo, both atop the MAC East, both 3-2 and both wanting this win. We're going to take it right into the fourth quarter because honestly, that's where the action really starts. Bulls are up 35-30 with just over 3 to go. James Kanapke up the middle to Ronnie Moore. Moore running for his life all the way up to the Buffalo 4. 36-yard run for Moore. That sets up this touchdown. Fred Coppett sneaks past for a TD. Falcons up 35-36, and some die-hard, freezing Falcon fans go wild. They end up going for 2, but check this out, Kanapke's incomplete pass to Roger Lewis. That will keep it a 1-point game. Bowling Green's got to make a big stop here, but not a good start with Buffalo. Kickoff return to the BG48. But don't worry, here comes the big guys. Check this out, 4th and 8. Licata tries to pull a fast one on the defense. Pass incomplete to Marcus McGill. That will do it for the Falcons. They get it back on downs, run the clock out, and that is all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. Bowling Green gets the homecoming win 35-36.
Second week in a row that the defense is on the field and wins the game for us. They're coming into their own. Once again, the statistics and the numbers are not where you want them to be, but there's more to this game than just numbers. There's a lot of teams with statistics. They're not sitting 2-0 on top of the conference.
Now we're in a position where our back's up against the wall. Everybody in here counting us out. Nobody thinks that we can be successful. And every day we just go out and try to prove everybody wrong and just play for each other.
Terry, what a huge game for Bowling Green, but another close one. The offense definitely got it done. It all came down to that defense. Was this a turnaround for the guys?
I have to say so, Katie. I know 35 points is a lot. You don't want to give that many points up in a game, but the defense came out when it mattered most. Senior Gabe Martin had the best game of the season by far, getting that key interception early on. He really anchored them, especially in that new middle linebacker spot. But see, now looking at some of these other games, Toledo, Northern Illinois, do the Falcons have a real shot at another MAC championship? Well, absolutely, Katie. They absolutely have another shot at MAC championship because they are playing in the MAC East. MAC East much weaker than the MAC West counterpart that has the Toledos, the Northern Illinois, the Ball States. But only team that Bowling Green is really competing with right now is the University of Akron. The Falcons get past the Zips, I can see them going right back to Detroit. Now looking at the rest of their schedule, this defense is going to have to keep it up. They still have some tough teams to face. Looking at Toledo towards the end of the season, that one is in the Glass Bowl. They're tied with Northern Illinois in the MAC West right now. And even looking at Ohio and Akron, both solid football teams, both away games. There's still a long 6 games ahead if they want to make it to the MAC championship. But now when we come back, hockey had a little homecoming of their own. We'll check out the game against Simon Fraser, and women's soccer had a little reason to celebrate this weekend. We'll tell you why when we come back.
Welcome back. Bowling Green women's soccer notched their first MAC win in 3 years on Sunday. The Falcons got an overtime win against Akron, their second win of the year. Freshman forward Skylar Fleek knocked in the OT game winner, her 4th goal of the year. Falcons moved to 2-9 on this season.
And moving over to volleyball, the Falcons took on Western Michigan Saturday night. The ladies were looking for their first MAC win on the year. Falcon freshman Nicole Slimko got 20 kills on the night. But Western Michigan was a tough team to take down. Taking the lead in most games, the Falcons carried 2, but let Western Michigan come back. Going to 5 sets, Bowling Green's consistency hurt them yet again. Western Michigan ended up taking this one in 5 sets. Bowling Green sits at 3-13 on the year and 0-4 in MAC.
Now that was a tough weekend for the ladies. Now Terry, I don't know about you, but dodgeball was always one of my favorite games to play in gym class when I was a kid. Reporter Claudia Seibert takes a look at the club sport here at Bowling Green.
BGSU has a wide variety of club sports, one of these being dodgeball. Club dodgeball is one of the few sports that is co-ed, and co-president Ty Smith says that it is not a bad thing.
I think it's a strength. We have lots of girls here that can actually play dodgeball really well.
Dodgeball is also a growing sport.
Especially this year, we had a lot of new faces come out. I think we recruited about 15 to 20 extra people this year. It's probably the biggest recruitment we've had since my freshman year.
Co-president Joel Hunter says a challenge will be teaching all the new players the game.
We have a really big class of freshmen this year, so getting them into it and getting them ready for the tournaments is going to be a big step.
Captain Adam Hines says BG's dodgeball team isn't half bad.
Nationally right now, out of the 28 teams, I believe, we are tied for 10. So I think we're pretty good.
Dodgeball is a good way to channel your aggression and make new friends.
If I have a tough time at school, something makes me upset, I can take it out on the dodgeball court.
It's a great way to relieve stress during the middle of the week. I had an exam earlier today, and now I get to go hit people with a dodgeball. Everybody on the team is just really great. We're all like a big family already, and it's just a lot of fun.
People, when I was talking to them, said that it was a friendly, inclusive environment. So we like to make everyone feel a part of something.
Reporting for BG24 Sports, I'm Claudia Seibert.
For more information, check out the BGSU Dodgeball website.
And the Falcon hockey season opened up on Saturday morning. The team faced Simon Fraser in an exhibition. Action started off very early as junior Ben Murphy put the Falcons on the board first when he buried a rebounder off the keeper into the back of the net. It was knotted up 2 apiece in the second period when Mitchell McLean broke the tie for a wrister that slid past the goalie. It was all Falcons from that point as the team scored the 5 straight goals to finish the 7-2 victory.
Now looking at the upcoming season for the Falcons, they made the number 4 ranking in the WCHA, but it will be a long road to the finals. Most of October is on the road after opening against Miami, a consistently good hockey program. They get into conference play against Alabama Huntsville, and then they come home in late October for another conference rival in Minnesota. It should be a fun season for the Falcons, though. Now, after the break, the Bengals learned what revenge felt like last night, and the Browns squeaked by with another win yesterday. We'll go over the NFL standings when we come back. Bowling Green swimming had a busy weekend at Cooper Pool. Friday, the ladies competed in the Tom Stubbs relays. Records were broken and the girls took first in 9 out of 10 relays. They saw some MAC competition as well. Now, Saturday was the alumni meet. The ladies got to show off their skills and race against fellow Falcons. But the real competition starts in a few weeks for the Falcons, but so far, they're looking pretty good.
They definitely are, Katie. And what do you think is the reason for the preseason sweep?
Well, they have a very strong team coming into this season. A lot of returners who are teaching the younger girls. Victoria Griffin, she's a returner. Carmen Young, Daniela Carrillo. They have a lot of older people coming in. Coach Martin, she can then work on that technical aspect of swimming, but still improve. They already took down the reigning MAC champions Akron in the relays. They took down Toledo. They're looking good so far this year.
Absolutely right, Katie. And keeping in the pool, water polo is a sport played around the globe that some students have brought to Bowling Green. Reporter Jasper Burnett tells us about BG's water polo team.
From the Olympic sport to Bowling Green, water polo is gaining a lot of popularity.
The objective is to score points by throwing the ball into the opponent's goal while on water, a sport similar to soccer, says President Andy Stacy.
A bit like soccer, but in the water. There's a lot of physical contact, it's a lot of swimming, it's a lot of survival, and it's really good for competitive people.
Player Julia Burns says there's no set position. Each player switches positions while guarding the team.
It's kind of funny how water polo works because positions kind of change around. So really it's whatever position you can get to the fastest.
2 wings, 1 point, 1 hole, which is played by one of the bigger guys on the team, makes up the formation. Water polo is very aggressive. Treading and continuous swimming adds to the upper body strength, which makes it different than a land sport.
I think the biggest goal for our group is just to keep improving. I feel like if we keep improving, then we can get better as a team. We have a lot of fun together, so hopefully that we keep practicing hard, that the goals that we set will come to fruition.
For BG24 Sports, I'm Jasmine Burnett.
You can get more information on the team on the Department of Recreation and Wellness website at bgsu.edu.
The NFL saw some heartbreak this weekend. Detroit dropped one to the Bills in a last-second 58-yard field goal, making it 17-14. But there was some good vibes in Cleveland. Just over a minute left, Brian Hoyer throws a TD to win the game. They beat the Titans 29-28. And the 72 Dolphins can pop the champagne open. No more undefeated teams in the league. The Bengals head to New England, Brady and company racking up the points in a 17-43 crushing of Cincinnati.
So Katie, Bengals failed in their first test of the year. Are they still a Super Bowl contending team?
I do not think they are. If you look at this Bengals team, they play strong in games that necessarily don't matter as much. But when you get to these high-quality teams like New England, and they'll face the Broncos later, they just crumble. But they had 3 fumbles last night. Their leading receiver was A.J. Green. He had 5 receptions for 81 yards. You can't win games like that. I don't think the Bengals are Super Bowl contenders because when you get into the later part of the season, they still play weaker teams. But then when you get into the playoffs, that's when you play the high-quality teams, and the Bengals can't do that.
And we got to talk about the Brownies. The Browns coming up from the rear in the AFC North. Do they have a shot at taking it this year?
The Browns do not. I don't think they do. Again, they've had a weak schedule so far. They've played the Saints, which is usually a high-quality team. Not so much this year right now. They barely beat the Titans yesterday. They were 1-3 before the game yesterday. The Browns, they're kind of a spoiler team, though, within the conference. They do take some of those games that they shouldn't necessarily win against the Steelers, Bengals, and Ravens, but I don't think they have what it takes to take the division. But now taking a look at the standings, the Browns are at the bottom of the pack in the AFC North, 0-2 in the division play. The Bengals still at the top, but this division will change throughout the season. It happens every year. The AFC North is usually a tougher one to play in.
Now looking at the NFC North, it's early to tell again, but it's still close. The Lions take first fall closely by the surging Packers. Detroit has only had 1 division game so far this season, and once they get into more of those games, it may shake up those standings. And now when we come back, it's around the studio. We have Phelps, Brady, Manning, and more. You will not want to miss this, so stay with us.
Welcome to Around the Studio. How this works, I ask a question. Whoever jumps on it first gets to answer first. We have Connor Eli joining us today. Connor and Terry battling it out. They will both have 15 seconds. Once their time is up, their time is up. At the end of each question, I will award points for the best answer. At the end of the game, I'll give the winner. All right, so 2 milestones for 2 quarterbacks this weekend. Peyton Manning hit 500 career touchdowns while Brady reached the 50,000-yard mark. Both elite quarterbacks. Whose career would you rather take?
I gotta go Peyton Manning. I know Tom Brady has more rings, 3 rings to Peyton's 1, but you cannot deny all of his numbers. Peyton Manning is going to go down as statistically the greatest quarterback who has ever played the game of football. You gotta go.
Yes, Terry knows exactly what he's talking about. I totally agree with him. Manning does have 1 ring, and he does have 5 Super Bowl appearances, and that really showed up in those games. But with the stats that he's put on the board, Peyton Manning's taken over today.
I'm going to have to give those points to Connor there. I liked how he mentioned the stats. he's like Brady, but he does have that 500-yard touchdown mark. Now, Michael Phelps got another DUI last week, entered himself into rehab. Does this affect the kids of America, or is Michael Phelps still that prominent in the media to where this really matters?
I think he's very prominent in the media. I don't think we'd be talking about him if he wasn't prominent in the media. Earlier today, a few hours ago, it was announced that Michael Phelps will miss the Worlds in 2015 of his comeback run because he has been suspended. This is not a guy I want my kids to role model themselves after.
I totally agree with Terry on that one. I don't think Michael Phelps will become a role model anymore. And honestly, if he keeps this up and doesn't learn the right way, he might never swim again for the Americans.
Terry gets those points. I agree. If Michael Phelps wasn't that prominent, if we didn't care about him, we wouldn't hear about him. So Terry, you got those points. The Tigers went 3 and out in the playoffs against the Orioles. The Angels swept by the Royals. Which is more surprising, Angels' loss or Tigers' loss?
I gotta say it's the Angels' loss. Angels finished with the greatest record in baseball this year, and I thought they had so much potential going to this postseason with the great hitting of Trout and Pujols and a good pitching staff, but the Royals came in there after winning that wild card game and swept the Angels.
But the Angels, Terry, I think that the Tigers, they're just a team, they're a fan favorite. Everybody talks about them. Seeing that they went 3 and out, you normally don't see that. I'm ready to see better from the Tigers.
All right, I got to give Terry this one. I think the Angels won. The Angels' loss is so much more surprising. Like Terry said, they had the best record in baseball. Now, fan attendance is limited by so many things. You have the weather, cost of tickets, even just sometimes it's just boredom. We saw it here at Bowling Green this weekend with the weather. People left. Is it okay for fans to leave games early if it's a close game?
You know, Katie, I hate to say it, but it's just football season. You can't complain. I mean, cold, warm, you got to come out, enjoy the game, cheer on your team, and represent them.
Connor's right, you do have to support your team, but this is America, Katie. There is no reason they shouldn't have the option to leave early if they want to. The game's not tickling their fancy. I go home as well. It was very cold out there. I wanted a jacket. I didn't get one. I had to be there on the sidelines, but I'm not going to blame them for leaving early.
All right, Terry, you got to get those points. Just your sheer enthusiasm for the fans being able to leave that game. So that is it. Terry wins 3-1. Thanks again for joining us, Connor. When we come back, we have the recap of scores from the weekend and our game of the week. Stay with us. Welcome back. Here is a recap of the weekend scores. Men's cross country finished 22nd out of 43 at the All-Ohio Championships. Women's soccer loses to Buffalo Friday but wins against Akron on Sunday.
And the women's cross country ended 15th out of 33 at the Louisville Cross Country Classic, And swimming won 9 out of 10 relays, but it did not count for the season.
Now, looking at this week, our game to watch has got to be the BG football game at Ohio this Saturday. Bowling Green goes in 4-2 on the year, 2-0 in the MAC, but Ohio sits at 3-3, 1-1 in conference play. Looking at the stats comparison, Bowling Green is averaging over 100 yards more per game. BG taking the advantage in rushing as well.
Bowling Green averaging more points per game, but giving up more as well. This one is in Athens, and the Falcons are 1-3 in away games. That one starts at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Katie, what are the keys offensively for the Falcons in this one?
They have to open up Travis Green, get Ronnie Moore some catches again. These teams are really starting to nail down what Roger Lewis is doing. They're keeping an eye on him because he has been the leader for this Falcons offense in the past 4 games or so, except last week, because they finally nailed him down. That opened up the way for Ronnie Moore. So if you are able to keep him open, get those passes thrown. We saw James Knapp, actually he ran a little bit this game too, which was nice to see. He's got to work on his sliding. They mentioned that, Coach Babers mentioned that in the post-game press conference. Yep. But if they can get that offense going, it'll be a good game. What do they need to do defensively to keep this run going, Terry?
Okay, defensively, it's all about stopping the run. Bowling Green has not been able to stop the run this year. Last game, giving up over 200 yards yet again. I think if they do that, it will stop the momentum. Bowling Green will be able to get that Falcon fast offense going on, and then as soon as they get things rolling defensively, that's going to lead to offensive rolling, getting the momentum. And then that's how Bowling Green is going to get the victory in this game.
That's exactly. It should be a really good game. Another MAC conference game right away. Well, that is all for BG24 Sports today. Follow us on Twitter for Falcons scores and news.
And check us out on Facebook for videos from today's show. I'm Terry Lash.
And I'm Katie Warnke. Have a great night, everybody.